here.
Yeah. And now we say, Dominic Dale.
It's great.
Sitting
I love it.
sofa.
Your Joe Swale sounds too good. So I play very, very good today. It's a tough match. It's perfect. That's so good.
Welcome to an episode of Talk with Taylor, myself, Allan Taylor, and I've been kindly joined on the sofa by Mr. Dominic Dale, Snooker's Spaceman. Dom, how are you keeping, mate?
I'm very well, yes. Hello, everybody. It's a first for us, isn't it?
Isn't it, mate? Nice and cosy, mate.
Yeah,
nice and cosy. First things first, where's the peroxide hair gone, mate?
I know. I go through cycles of doing it. I sort of 6-8 months of it, and I've had enough. And I dyed it back black, its natural colour. Well, not black, but sort of dark brown.
Greyish, yeah.
Yeah, well, it is now. It's an old man now, 48 in a couple of months. But, you know, somebody remarked as soon as they saw me, said, crikey, you look 20 years younger. And I thought, do I look that old with peroxide hair? I thought, goodness.
Well, you know, obviously, I do an impression of yourself.
A very good one.
You took it very well at the shootout last season.
Well, it's because I was winning.
Well, that's probably got a lot to do with it. So what am I going to do with my impression now, mate? You're going to have to bring it back on the scene.
Well, I know, yeah, I need to start winning some matches to keep myself in the limelight a bit. Do you know, you do, one thing I like, because when I'm practising, I'm always chalking my cue in the normal position, sort of chest level. And you impersonate me chalking the cue up here, and you're absolutely right. Whenever I play matches, I don't know why I do it, I chalk the cue up here somewhere. I don't know why.
That's it, mate, it's just right at the top there, right at the top. You've got to massage the chalk in.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, thanks for joining us. What we're trying to do is we're trying to mix it up, you know, get a few pointers to the other side of the game. You know, Obviously there's a bit of travel involved, and certainly, you know, while we're on the road, it's you might miss a few home comforts and that sort of thing. So just a few quick fire questions, really, just to see what Dom Dale likes.
Right. Okay.
So, just quickly, favourite music or band?
Well, I like opera. When I was in my early 20s, I had training by an opera singer in Neath. So I like classical music, like a lot of tenor operatic arias. But aside from that, I love jazz. I love things like ragtime piano, Scott Joplin, Winfred Atwell, people like that. Big fan of the Beatles, their later stuff. It's funny, you know, when I was younger, I loved their earlier stuff. Please, Please Me, and She Loves You, and, you know, From Me to You, I Want to Hold Your Hand. But as I've got older, I prefer their more sort of introverted stuff. Yeah,
the John Lennon period, is it?
Introspective stuff, I beg your pardon, not introverted. Certainly not introverted. But, you know, the White Album and stuff like that,
Yeah. That's good. So, what's your go-to meal after a long trip away from home at tournaments?
Quite often I travel with Sam Baird or Rob Milkins, and win or lose, if we're on our way home, we'll stop at services, and it's invariably with Rob Milkins. It's not McDonald's, it's McDonald's, as he always calls it, but something like that, and I'll partake of that. But if I'm actually already home, I'll try and... I do like a kebab, but I always have like a chicken shish kebab, but with no pita bread, no salad, just the chicken for protein and a hot chilli sauce or something. I do that quite often in Stroud where I live.
Body's a temple, mate. Body's a temple.
Yeah, not very often.
Do you play any other sports other than snooker?
I was a bit of a sprinter at school, and I walked very quickly, much quicker than everybody else, I think. People take the mickey out of me for that.
Especially me.
You need some roller skates to do that one, don't you? Do I play any sport? No, not really, funny enough. I mean, in the club I play in Stroud, the match play, I'm not bad at darts, and I don't play any darts teams. I played the odd Skittle match. They have Skittles there.
Skittles, the sweets?
That's
your go-to food, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my go-to food, yeah. Sugar rush.
Now, this is a quick-fire-ish little few questions, because the next question is, what cue, tip and chalk do you use, and is there a reason why?
Right, well, being a billiards historian, I love old cues, and I've chopped and changed a million times over the years, but the last couple of months, I've just got hold of a Rex Williams Powerglide original. Realised straight away that there was something missing with the game before.
What tip did you put on the top of it?
I've been using key-created tips, but I've just gone back to Elkmasters.
And standard dust on the top?
No. A lot of players we know are using this finished chalk, this Talon. A lot of players still using the green triangle. I think John uses a variant of it that's really made for layer tips with the black papers around it, but it's green triangle. I'm using this Navigator chalk, which is actually 20 quid a block.
Is that a sat nav, is this, to get all the balls in the pocket?
Well, it's working this week. But yeah, it's called Navigator chalk. It's about 20 quid a block, and it's a dark green like the very old green triangle used to be. And I love this chalk because it doesn't leave marks on the table. don't seem to get many kicks, and I don't miss cue like some players suggest that happens with the town short, but whether it does now I don't know, because they've brought out different variants of it now, so whether that still happens, I doubt it, because there are so many players still using it, so it must be all right now.
Maybe. Last question. What advice would you give to young aspiring players who want to play snooker?
Yeah, now, you know, playing in Wales in tournaments and things as a pro in the Welsh Open especially, I meet all my friends and parents of kids that want to be professionals, and they do often ask me this question, you know, what's my son got to do if he wants to be a professional snooker player? Well, the answer I always give, it sounds ridiculous, it sounds humorous, but it's true really. You've got to live your teenage years when you're in your 30s. You've got to leave the ladies alone, you've got to leave the nightclubs alone, not drink, and you've got to be ultra professional at a young age. It's not really natural, is it, to live that sort of lifestyle?
Yeah.
But the ones that do, they're the ones that make it and become champions. So what do you want to do? You know?
Yeah, sort of like you got to harbour all them sort of temptations.
Yeah, natural instincts.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way of leading a natural life has to be foregone if you want to be a professional sportsman in any sport, really.
You almost have to sort of get a job earlier in life, don't you? You know, it's your 6 hours a day, it's your maybe 5-6 days a week, and while all your mates are going out playing on the bike or football or whatever other sport that tends to be social, you've sort of got to isolate yourself. And
you've got to make those sacrifices, but if you're a young kid is sort of 10, 12 years old playing on the big tables, enjoy it. Enjoyment must come first when you're that young. So just do a couple of hours a day, do the right type of practice, see a coach, find a coach who can give you a good technique at a young age. Because if you don't have a good technique and you change a lot of things when you're in your late teens, it's harder to incorporate them in a way that is sort of natural to you. Because your technique, the way you strike a ball has to be natural. So if you can be put onto a good cue action and a good technique at a very young age, it will really stand you in good stead, and that's what John Higgins did, for instance.
No, that's great advice. We're obviously here at the 19.com English Open, and we've got the Q Zone downstairs, and Chris Lovell's doing all the work with the youngsters, and it's great to see that, you know, the young players getting in. So obviously your advice is up there with the best of them, Dom. So
hope so.
I'd just like to say thanks for joining us here with Talk with Taylor. One last thing. Should we have a selfie?
Why not?
Sorry?
I'm useless at least.
Well, thanks very much, Dom. It's an absolute
Alan.
pleasure to share the sofa with you.
Thank you very much.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of Talk with Taylor with the Spaceman himself, and we'll see you next time.
Ladies and gents, from Allan Taylor as the Spaceman. What can you do with this man?